I hope you're having an amazing day. My name is Colin. Today, on an episode of Crypto Insights, Jasich, founder of Connectivity, the master networker, collab manager, alpha caller everywhere with the insights. How are you, mate? Thank you for being here.
Yeah, that was a intro. I'm good. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, pretty good. No complaints. I mean, overall, you seem to be everywhere lately, right? Dedicated following, cooking up some stuff. And of course, I assume you're quite the expert with this following in terms of how to connect, build relationships. So let me ask you this. What was basically the ethos behind yourself coming into Web3 and how that connects to what you're doing at the moment with connectivity? Could you give us some background in yourself first and then how that connects?
So I mean, yeah, I think I got into Web3 when most people got in during like the bull market when COVID was happening and the world was shut down or stuck at home. And then I heard people were making money off JPEGs, and I was like, "How is this happening?" I dove a little into
Right.
it with my friend, and he left the space now. I don't know what he's doing, and I'm kind of went really deep into it and fully became Web3 full time after that happened.
What made you stick around for such a long time? Because that's almost, 3 years, 3.5 years.
Yeah, it's been a while now. I mean, just because it's dynamic, you can't predict it. It's something's different happening every day. That's what excited me to keep me around and keep going daily and be pushing myself every day, right? So that was the
So many
main
opportunities
reason,
around you.
exactly. Yeah.
Right. So 3.5 years of experience. What does the experience look like? What are your favorite components that you've dabbled with along the way? Because that's quite a long time.
Yeah, I mean, I started off as a moderator in a project called Floppy and Friends. So start did a bit of that. It was a 10K supply, paid mint of 0.07 during like the bull. So they minted that out. So that was my
The good
first.
old days.
Yeah, that was like the first time I had a good taste of dealing with a hype project, and that was just as a mod for free. I just did that to gain experience. Then
Hmm.
after that, did a little bit of community management in various projects. Born to be Me, met a lot of friends there, and then from there, they gave me my first collab management job as inbound CM. So I was going out, figuring out how to negotiate, bring in collabs for these my groups that I was representing. And then from there on was the start of like becoming a collab manager. I did several various like short term freelance gigs and stuff with different projects. DGen, some were hyped, some were like didn't even mint out, some didn't even make it any further. There were all various terms of the deals. So some were for like 1 week, some were for months. So just
Hmm.
jumped around till, and then I got after that figured out that I was becoming good at finding early projects. So then I took my content on Twitter, started shifted towards finding projects early and digging and researching into and finding them for my groups and letting us get the spots before anyone else could. And helped. We made. I mean, I had one of my groups had we had a bot that would track and find projects pretty fast before Elon took over Twitter and broke
How does that work? Basically, it just scrapes or it looks at like followers,
yeah.
engagement.
So that ball was scraping several well-known accounts, watching their following. So then
Damn,
whenever
you were
they would,
following my account?
I don't know, maybe we were.
Right.
We were following a lot of the bigger influencers in that time. We were seeing what they were because they would obviously we
Hmm.
felt like they would have information before the general
Yeah.
public. So we would just watch them and then catch projects pretty fast and right off the bat. I think the first one that we knew that had some like potential in this tool was that we caught Illogics, which was like a free mint at like 20 followers because some one of the key accounts we were following followed them. So that was like if we can keep doing this, we can keep catching stuff. So that's what we did with that.
So kind of like the bot notified prominent followers following that account gives a signal, and then you basically go in straight away, try to build a relationship and get spots for your community. If you are early, you can get a lot of spots. Is that how it works?
Yeah, that was basically the gist of it. Either get the spots for the community. If they don't have a CM, I would be like, "Yo, let me be your CM, and let me do the
All
job
right.
for you." So I was getting a lot of clients that way too, finding a lot of jobs. Being fast and early helped definitely, I think.
Makes sense. Makes sense, definitely. And then obviously now we know you're working with the likes of Charisma, the big dogs, right? In the in the big leagues. How is that working different? Because I imagine obviously working, let's say, under a company umbrella, there is some structure. Working on your own, you can kind of like do what you want. But
Yeah,
it really sounds like, and this is what appears to be a common pattern if we look at others similar in the space, Charisma, Jacopo, with Jacuz, right? That pattern there is basically offer free value, right? Get connections, get more value, give more value, and that's kind of how you level up in this space. What do you see in terms of from 3 years ago to today, how that has changed, or is it still the same?
I think yeah, it was a similar journey. Like I did a lot of free. No one's gonna pay you right off the beginning when you're chasing like opportunities and stuff in this space. I feel like you have to show people your worth, right? And then do the free jobs and hustle and grind your way
Why do
till
you think that is?
just so you build a name and reputation, I think. So people gain your trust, I feel, right? In the space and
Right.
then you make the connections with different founders and different collab managers, different KOLs in the space, and then you get your word. A lot of word jobs I ended up getting was just word of mouth, right? I think I applied for like, I think three out of the all the ones I've done so far in the past like years in Web3, but most of the jobs have been all through connections and making network,
Hmm.
basically.
Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, obviously, I can only speak for Infernal Labs, but it's a supply and demand equation, in my opinion. If we throw up a vacancy, I can have 300 applicants in a day, right?
Yeah,
So there's no shortage of people that want to work, but we've never done it that way. I mean, the reason you're here is because Charisma selected you as
exactly.
like
Yeah,
a high performer, and that's all networking at the end of the day, right? That's what it comes down to. So, how does that translate to a vision of connectivity? Because I'm going to be real fair with you. I've seen it on
yeah,
Twitter. I've looked at it. I don't know too much about it, but every single, I don't want to say every single day, but at the moment I'm working on big campaigns, right? Big clients,
yeah,
tier 2 clients. And at the same time, I still get messages like, hey, connectivity. Hey, there was a mention here. Hey, we saw your video
yeah.
there, right? So tell us about what is connectivity, what's the purpose, and what inspired you to basically bring that forward.
So I mean, connectivity started off as just like a Discord I wanted to make for answering
Hmm.
the question, who is the CM for X project, right? Every week I would get countless DMs from other collab managers asking me who's the collab manager for this project, and then it would be the same recurring thing happening in Twitter group chats I'm in with other collab managers. It was people asking the same project.
Because they're trying to find the connection to ask for the spots.
Yeah, exactly, for their community, and they're
Right.
trying to be early. And I figured out like, why are we trying to gatekeep this? Let's just make a Discord, keep it like a chill environment where collab managers can like learn, grow, and expand their network
Mm.
basically. And that's where the idea came to fruition. Talked to one of the PewCast members, which is King Gasvik. So he was thinking of doing something, and then I first said that I would help him as an advisor and kind of guide him in the right direction of how we should structure this Discord to be different from what there's other ones that exist. We know that, but we wanted to do something different to get the name out there, have it more like a networking aspect behind it, and make it more fun. So then he started thinking of ideas like what do we want to have, like what's the key easiest ways people can connect, and we realized that the easiest way people can connect is that if we push voice VCs and voice chat over and over in the server, like we literally that's where all the networking happens. It's much easier to connect via talking over voice than
Sure. And
actually
what would I have to imagine? Is it yourself leading the voice chat, or is it just a bunch of people? I don't know. Are we talking maybe five, 10, or are we talking like a triple dozen?
It goes throughout the day. It's just, there's people just sitting in there
Oh, there's just people there all the time.
all day. Like I literally I sit there and work, and then there's
Right.
people come in and just goof around, talk DJ and talk nonsense. Won't even be Web3 related sometimes the conversation, but then they'll just learn and about each other personally and connect off that.
Sure,
Like
like a networking hub, basically.
yeah, exactly. And then there's also obviously share alpha on various chains because there's collab managers from Bitcoin side, Solana, ETH, Bera now. Like we have everyone's just looking for whatever is out there coming up, right? So
Right. So they come together, but is it that you? Because I've seen the screenshots on Twitter, right? You got like 100 people there. Like,
yeah.
is that the case where you are hosting? And if you are hosting, or is it just like you just tweet like,
Oh,
"Hey guys, I'm there. Let's rock and
I don't
roll."
even ping. I don't ping. I try not to ping at all in the
That's
server.
crazy. So
People
you
just
can
go there.
definitely see in that case that there's such a big demand for it, right? People
Yeah.
really want to engage. So you said basically people, do they notify themselves as the collab manager, or is it more like an ask and reply kind of like chat feed?
Everyone's like in there because to get in there, we had to like verify that you are a CM somewhere in your community, right? So there's an application where you get to verify it with screenshots and with like most of our team is connected everywhere in the space, so we know if this
Hmm.
person's legit kind of thing, and then they're a collab manager. That was how the initial batch of people got in to the server, right? So, and everyone is helping
Right.
each other out. There's no mods in our server or anything, so everyone knows how to act and it's self maintaining and running server basically now.
Okay, so let's say if you are, because what I often see is I see your profile,
Yeah,
right? I see you, for example, saying like this project is handled by this person, this project, like a little weekly summary,
yeah,
right? Which is like very insightful, has good engagement. People are like very appreciative of those posts. But of course, as I would say, what I hear from collab managers all the time is the unanswered DMs, right? There's people under your Twitter post that say, you know, why you never reply me? Why you never get back to me? You're
yeah.
not going to make it. What would you say to these individuals? Because apparently these individuals have less value to offer,
Mhm.
right? Because otherwise they would be in the circle where they would desire to be. Um, what can they do to level up their expertise? Because I mean, crying in DMs is not going to help.
Yeah,
It goes so far that I have people adding me on Discord and I do nothing in the operations,
yeah.
right? And then calling me on Discord, and you know that's not my thing. You know, I deal with Telegram, I deal with the bigger clients, and I'm just like, these people must live in like some kind of degen mindset or like some different world where somebody you don't know, you just call them 3 4 times, you just ring their phone to get their attention because to tell me that one of the employees doesn't want to give them spots, right? Which I'm like, in which world are we living? So my question is, have you experienced that with connectivity? Like, what are you saying? Is there a place for these people, or does the community need to mature more first?
We let in various levels of CMs, right? And then the ones who are asking, this question gets asked a lot in VCs when we're chilling and just hanging around. Is like, how do you get your DMs answered by the top of the like crop CMs, like when they're handling a hype project? So like the best like tip I've given is like you want to connect with them when they're not like you want to connect make that start making that building that relationship with them when they're not handling a hype project, right? So it's easier
Right.
to get that in. Be have a unique approach, like or I get so many GMs and how's your day messages every single like day on Twitter, on Discord, and I'm like,
And
well,
you
you
say
don't care
unique,
about how my day
creative.
is.
They should send nudes, or like what are we thinking?
Well, you don't need to go that far. Like you could be joking. I've had like most some of the connections I've made have just been like off stupid jokes that I've made. Like and they heard me say on a tweet I made some comment. There'll be a reply guy, and then I've replied to them just because it was a funny statement that they
Right.
made. and I became friends off of random just degen and stuff like that, right? So like
Right.
people can take a unique approach to get connections to these.
Well, to be fair, like when I've seen, let's say, there have been some crazy campaigns this year, and not necessarily in regards to the collab managers, but when I look at, what like these meme community, the community can win whitelist spots, shit like that, and
Yeah,
people like shave their hair, and like some guy made a whole song and uploaded it up to SoundCloud, like
yeah,
that's sick. But what people don't realize is that oftentimes these creative components, indeed, which sometimes a little bit cringe, right, it
yeah,
makes it all the way to the chain of command, right? Like, I mean, at the end of the day, I'm overseeing a group of 125 employees. If I get like some dude that shaved like Farcana in their hair or something like
I
that, then it
remember
must
that.
be like really funny. And I take time, I look at it, and I can just say, obviously, I have the power to say, give this guy a spot, right? Like that doesn't matter. And usually, even the projects, they love that, right? That genuine style.
Yeah,
But dealing with collab managers, of course, you're dealing with people, right? So I do understand that at times there might be, you know, egos involved, these type of dynamics. What, apart from the creative approach, what would be, let's say, a strategic approach? Because I think your remark in terms of message them when they're not busy or when they don't have the gold in their hands, that's probably the best advice,
yeah.
right? I think that's amazing advice. What would be something that you can add on to that, perhaps?
Maybe find like a middleman, like someone who has them added and has a good connection with them, and then you know that person, and be like, "Can you put in
Hmm.
a good word for me and represent let that CM know that I represent XYZ community. Can you see if there's a chance that you can connect me with them? So then you can basically you're avoiding the mess, getting your DM stuck in the mess, and then you have someone who is already in with that person, right? And you can
Right.
use them as a middleman to get to that person that you the hype CM or whatever, the top guy that you're trying to get to, right?
Exactly. And just for perception purposes, because not everybody might be aware of this. When you're running a nice project, do you have something right now that you would say like this is a very nice project that you're running?
Right now I got Moonray and Apex Foundation.
Oh, Moonray is definitely
Yeah.
going really well. How many DMs a day would you get?
Oh, if I left them over the weekend. I did not check my DMs, and I there were over 300
Yeah.
piled up.
Okay.
So
Yeah, that's what people tell me, and
yeah,
people don't understand. I mean, people don't grasp that specifically this component. As doing this as your work, you start with the oldest message and you work your way up. So
yeah,
if they bump, they shoot to the top again and they have to wait.
I agree.
And that concept of, let's say, impatience, right? And
Yeah,
specifically working. I mean, if you're being ignored, you're being ignored. That's different, right? But if
exactly.
you're impatient and just, yeah, continuously bumping, and then I would also say, when I see these people calling me, like I'm being nice. They say like, "Oh, one of your guys is not replying," and I'm like, "Okay, let me ask." And I just call Karishna, and I'm like, "Hey, these people complain of this community," and he's
Yeah,
like, "Don't call me for that. Like I'm dealing with it, right? Like why are you getting involved?" I'm like, "Well, they're messaging me. How did they even find me?" Like that's the thing, straight FBI. They find my fucking Discord handle. Okay. And then that person keeps bumping me every hour. And I'm like, I don't work in that department. I got other shit to do, right, all
yeah,
day. And I'm trying to be nice, block, right? That's how it goes. And that's
exactly.
obviously an unfortunate pattern. Now, would you take, and maybe I'm asking the wrong questions, right? But would you take another step with connectivity perhaps in the future to bring that education component to the space, or is that not your ambition?
I've been trying to. We everyone is who's more experienced in the as a CM has been uh constantly giving advice to the ones who are trying to build up to that next level, right? So I mean, there's this like self teaching going on constantly. I think in the server already, which I like. And a lot of people have been doing that. So
I think we're good. Sorry about that.
good.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, there's a this so like yeah, there's a lot of self maintaining and teaching happening within the server, giving various tips from what's worked for one person to another, basically, right?
So there is kind of, let's say, the educational feedback loop, because I feel like that is a component. Of course, right? We're here at the end of the day to educate the 99%, right?
Yeah,
The 1% that's where you are, right? You're currently in a very nice position and everybody's looking up to you,
yeah,
but at the same time, you can't send, like how many followers you have, 10,000. You can't send 10,000 messages to these people trying to help everybody. There's just not enough time.
yeah.
Having a community where it all comes together, I think is great, right? What would you say is the vision? How do you think things will evolve in that regard for connectivity?
I mean, just going day by day. Honestly, I didn't have any like set roadmap for this server, honestly, because Web3 is so dynamic and changes every day, right? So
Did,
there's
did
been
you ever think it would be such a success?
no, it didn't. I thought it was. I did not expect this much like noise to happen on the timeline, and this many like agencies to come like agree to endorse us as like one of the legit sources for getting connections and for their projects and such, right? So I
Hmm.
mean, nothing was in the like roadmap for what it has become so far. It's been only like a month and like couple days.
Yeah, it's crazy because that's what basically got me intrigued as well, right? I just hear so much good feedback, and having it gated at the same time, sparks that curiosity of,
Yeah,
what are these guys doing? What's going on? Yeah, yeah, very nice done. Very nice. What do you think about let's say, completing this year? What's in store for us on that, let's say, collaboration side, go to market? How will things happen? Like we see a lot of the meme projects at the moment, as also on the NFT side, which is quite new,
yeah,
right? Reaching new heights. We see, I would say, an increase in engagement, right? The audience is coming back to life with the Bitcoin move lately. Any
yeah.
specific thoughts on how we're going to conclude this year?
I think there's more gaming stuff coming out. Obviously, like we saw past couple weeks, off the grid popping off, right?
Right.
So everyone was playing that game. That was
Have you
it's
played it?
Yeah, we played it in connectivity. Like I'm friends with one of the community managers in Avalanche, so they brought it to
Mm,
us. They're like, "You want to do a game night with Off the Grid?" So we were one of the groups that got to play it and gave a
very
couple
nice.
patches out. So it was pretty good for like a Web3 game. So I think more and more Web3 games are gonna I think gonna be coming up in the future, and
Any
that's
big
fun.
titles you're looking forward to?
I mean, can I be biased towards Moonray?
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the gameplay. It looks really nice. I mean, they worked on it for a really long time.
Yeah,
Perhaps Treeverse,
yeah,
Endless
that one.
Cloud Studios,
Yeah,
nice one as well.
there's a lot out there, but I
Me
don't know.
being
Do I
biased,
have
yeah,
time to
I have
play?
a big ticket in Godzilla, big ticket in Treeverse.
Bro, no, I haven't put any money in anymore.
Oh, Godzilla, that's from 2021 when I made
Yeah,
that investment. They've been taking a really long time. It's a big ticket as well, but seeing all the developments, I'm
yeah,
happy. And of course, Midnight Society, right,
yeah,
was one big title. Then, of course, the Doctor Disrespect drama kind of ruined that a little bit.
yeah,
The dust seems to have to be settled, but nobody wants to offer him a streaming deal at the moment. Yeah, I mean, off the grid, definitely pulling things to new heights. So, no real plan as of yet right now for the community, but apparently it's working really, really well. Everybody seems to be loving it. You seem to be
yeah,
loving it. There's consistent value being circled around, and the opportunity for new individuals, if they obviously prove their work ethic, right,
yeah,
is available to join.
yeah.
Very good. All right. Amazing. Thank you so much for answering all my easy and sometimes difficult questions. I appreciate your time. I hope everybody else watching this enjoyed this video. If there's any questions, I would love to have you back in the future. Anybody watching this, feel free to drop your questions down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day.